And we are in, and what is the map then? Oh, it's going to be normal island, so they are not going to be picking twin paddles yet. They are probably going to be keeping it as an ace in case they lost the game. But to be honest, CZs are really one of the strongest on water, especially on islands. And even though they have actually lost on islands against RK, I think it was because they chose a bit unfortunate strategy, or rather, Arcs chose better one. Arcs actually advanced or slightly faster than CZs. And usually you can guess in high level games what that means with Galley Russian and whatnot. And that exactly meant that. And yet again, that was the Nikov factor. And he was just able to overpower the opponents very easily. But the most significant problem for CZs was definitely that they were advancing slightly slower than their opponents. And they just weren't able to do anything significant after that. So looking at, of course, the corners in there with a lot of fishies in all of them, don't really see any kind of blind spots all that much. Potentially only blind spot is in here. But there are still a bit of deep fish in there. So nothing really all that significant. That could be problematic potentially for Mahore if he drops a dock in there. And Skull, this time he's Japanese with good reason. And otherwise Vikings, Saracens and Huns. And it seems to be exactly the mirror. Exactly the mirror between them all. In the middle, we are of course going to be having a few islands in there with stone and gold and a bit of a wood line as well on top of them. And basically everything the same. And which one is going to be the most important one? Depends how they're actually spawned. So who is flank and whatnot? Orange and purple. Okay, so these are flanks. Yannick is flank on the left as Viking. That's definitely nice for CZs. And he's going to be facing against Hans. Good fella. Well, Viking against anything non-Viking is of course going to be advantage. For the opponent who is Viking, Pink Floyd who is in the pocket. Yeah, well, that's not really ideal. Usually you want to be having the Viking in the flank. Exactly, because of the potential to be stronger in the galley fighting in the early galley Russian. So that's already an advantage for CZs in there. As on the right flank they are going to be having the Huns, which is one of the better water civilizations because they don't need to spend wood on the houses, and it's going to be facing against Mahore as the Saracens. And the Saracens, yeah, well, they actually want to go into a bit more into gas age and whatnot, right? They don't really want to fight all that much in the fuel age. Transport ships, galleys attack 20%. Well, they not really mind, apparently. I was thinking they are having a bit more advantage in the next ages, but I may be confusing them with Byzantines, probably. Because Byzantines usually go for the fast castle, for the fire ships and whatnot. But yeah, there is definitely the galleys attacking 20% faster. This might be an interesting fight in here between the Huns and the Saracens. And the Saracens in the flank are of course going to be quite a good choice for them as well. Okay, so both aggressive dogs. So that's going to be between Mango and Mahore, a bit of an interesting 1v1. As they were having a 1v1 in the last game. Yeah, well, that went for Mango. And this time it might be just coming for Mahore. On the left flank, we are of course going to be expecting quite a little easier game for Yannick. Front dog from Goodfella, Yannick is going to be dropping into the pocket position into the middle, which I think is slightly better because of course, even though you might be allowing your opponent to go around the map to basically abuse your pocket positions of Enka in there, and of course the other pockets go. Still, if you build into the middle and are faster, which I'm fully expecting that the Viking should be, he's going to be forcing his opponent to go there anyway. And he's going to be having a much better chance of controlling the middle of the map, and that is usually much more significant on islands. Back build, of course, from Skrath, as you would be expecting. Unfortunately, he does have this sucky peninsula from this island. This definitely sucks big time for him. Because what it means is that, of course, he's not having all the deep fish that could be spawned there. Instead of a stupid land. So even though he still does have some, he's going to be having quite inefficient food gathering. A bit more inefficient than he could have had. And interestingly, Pink Floyd coming into the pocket in the front. That's unusual. That's slightly unusual. Usually the pocket positions, both of them, are coming for the back positions, but this time not really. And he dodged a bit of a bullet in there as we're looking at the only basically empty spot that could have been a bit of a threat to Pink Floyd. In the meantime, he's having a lot of fishies in the middle, so not really any kind of issue for him. Ovenka we have already seen at the back how he's looking for Skull. Also a bit into the front, so basically the same as Pink Floyd. So they are playing quite similarly. I'll be really interested to see at what amount of villages they are going to be advancing. Mango as the first one, Pink Floyd Goodfella in tow. That's going to be 19. 19 for Mango. Whereas Pink Floyd and Goodfella at 20. Yeah, well, you can see that Mango is not having that nice game. As he's advancing without one extra villager as opposed to the opponents. Skull, Mahore and Yannick are going to be advancing also, and Ovenka seems to be just biding his time and going for even more villages. Probably the same as Skrath, it seems. Where Skrath you would be expecting he will be advancing at about 27 villages, maybe even more. He should be in basically safe pocket position, and as the Japanese you want him to basically have as strong advance into Castle Age as possible. And the boom coming with that, of course. One relic, for example, right now for Mango. Actually, two. He's actually having two relics inside his base, and well, one is going to be coming for Mahori. It's going to be at least 2 versus 1, and then one relic right now for Skrath and one for Goodfella. So in the end, 3 for Brazil C, whereas just 2 for CZ, but at least for CZ it's for the one player, so that's usually a bit better for them. As we are going to be looking at the first galleys coming up, and Yannick, well, interestingly enough, he was also advancing quite a bit later as the Viking, which would be expecting that he might be wanting to advance as fast as possible, basically the fastest. And it really seems like that this might be mimicking the game that we have seen against Argentina A. And yet again, CSET's advancing slightly later than their opponents, even though it was a bit more later in the R game that actually cost them the game in there. And I'm not really all that convinced that they still would be having such an easy game in here. But yeah, well, right now apparently Mango is going to be slightly faster, harassing his opponent. As Mahore is just now coming up with the boats, and with the faster fire rate, he definitely needs to retreat. And even though he is doing damage to the economy, he definitely will have to wait for a bit more boats to be on par with his opponent soon enough. And there is a bit of a fighting apparently between Skull and Pink Floyd in the pocket. So these are the guys that are going to be having a bit of fun with each other. And Skull, well, yeah, he's going to be probably sticking to the right side. As on the left, we should be looking at Ovenka together with Yannick. And so far it seems like it's basically Yannick versus Goodfella. Because of course both pockets, Krath and Ovenka, went for, well, for a bit later, few villages. Ovenka even more so. So he's at 26 villages, 10 fishing boats. Skrath is going to be at 10 and 25 as well. We'll have 26 pretty soon as well, but he has already advanced. So he's probably going to be aiming for a bit faster advance into Castle than Ovenka, but Ovenka should be stronger. And it should be paying off for him, because of course Yannick is going to be fighting as a Viking, so he should be able to basically take care of to advance. There should be much of a doubt about that, especially since Goodfella is not doing anything significant. He's just basically waiting there, not doing anything at all. That's kind of weird. You would be expecting that he would be at least scouting, coming around the island, trying to get into pocket position on Ovenka. But yeah, apparently not. And Mango on the right. Oh well, he's playing well. It's definitely aiming for another little win in the little 1v1s in here that we are having, of course, in all games. And on the previous game it worked well for him, and this time it's working a whole lot better. Mahore having something hidden. What it actually is? Well, just a few boats, nothing really all that significant. But of course, right now that's going to be a bit of an advantage for him, because Mango is having majority of his boats somewhere else, as he's right now having to retreat back. And well, I think he's going to be well in time, because he does have enough boats right next to his docks. And yeah, it's going to be pretty much fine for him. So this is really going to be quite nice for Mango. As in the pocket, we are looking at also not a bad fight for Skull, to be honest. Well, it's aiming for a very bad one, because you can see just the pure numbers for Pink Floyd are a whole lot better. And especially considering there is a Viking, he's of course going to be winning the battle in there. So Ovenka, or rather Skull, should be a whole lot more careful with where he's going, as we are also looking at Yannick having significant armada already present. And going to be trying to get rid of all the army that's Krat and potentially even purple. A good fella might be sending in, and he's just now going to be coming in. And that might be enough. That seems like exactly nicely coordinated by Brazil C. The left flank of those players in, and oh well, that's going to be quite tricky for Yannick. That's going to be quite tricky indeed. But Ovenka is going to be coming into Castle pretty soon. So it seems like that Yannick should be able to handle this quite fine with a bit of micro that he definitely does have. And he definitely does have, yeah. And already some first boats are coming in from Ovenka. And Fletchin is going to be on top of that. So it definitely should be quite fine for them. And the H advantage will be coming for CZ Clan, aka Czech Republic A, pretty soon into gameplay. And will be working for them quite well. In the meantime, in the pocket, Skull seems to be basically catching Pink Floyd off guard a bit. Even though Pink Floyd was having quite significantly more boats in there just a moment ago, apparently not the case anymore. Just speaking to Skull's quite nice gameplay in there. As, of course, on the right flank, Mango is definitely winning against Mahori. And it seems to be quite convincing, to be honest. Even though there are still a few boats in there, he's doing a good job dividing and conquering. And just killing the boats one by one as he gets there. Yeah, that's working very well for him. Very well indeed. So situation on the left flank exactly as secure as we have expected. Skrath advancing into Castle Age is going to be quite late. Even though he still is the pocket position in there, he's going to be quite helping in at least trying to somehow stem the tide of the opponents. I'm just right now going to be clicking between the players how they are actually going to be advancing into Castle Ages. Mahori apparently not. Skull is going to be advancing pretty soon as he's having a bit of an altercation in the middle yet again with Pink Floyd, but really seems to be doing a whole lot better in the battles, which is definitely confusing to me, because of course Pink Floyd as the Viking should be doing a whole lot better, but apparently it's probably going to be coming down to better micro by Skull, it seems like. He's picking the better fights, and yeah, just making sure that he's not really fighting any battles that he couldn't be winning. So right now you should be retreating, right? And he's just going to be hit and run and waiting for a bit more reinforcements for him. And crucially, he's already advancing through Castle Age as well. So, good fella. Also aiming for the advance to the next age. As right now, Ovenka is quite impatient to get on with it, with Yannick. He wants to push the advantage of his own war galleys, which definitely should be happening. But yeah, not really aiming anywhere all that much. And they seem to be coming right now to the bottom for good fella. Or are they? Actually, they are not. Not really understanding this all that much. They are just giving time to their opponents. Pink Floyd just now clicking into Castle Age as well with Yannick in tow, so that's both Vikings basically the same. Manka is alright, and Mango, yeah, well, not really advancing yet either. So apparently Mango and Mahore are going to be having a bit of 1v1 between them for the remainder of the game, as they are really fighting for it. And it really has to be said that it's a battle and it's going to be very hard to win for Mahore, because even though he's having the faster shooting boats from the Saracen, Mango is going to be still having the upper hand. He's basically having it from the very first minutes of the water fights, and he's not going to be relinquishing it anytime soon. As there was a bit of an attempted fight by Skrath, hoping to use the advantage of his own war guys, but yeah, it's not going to be working for him at all, as there is a bit of an interesting altercation between Yannick and Goodfella. And I'm fairly certain that Yannick needs to retreat, yeah, because he's fighting right next to dogs of Goodfella. And that's not where you want to fight at all, because it means that your opponent is going to be having so much better reinforcement routes and reinforcement times, much more importantly, that actually it's not worth it to be fighting them at all, unless you are having significant advantage in numbers already. Right about now, I'm thinking they should be really trying to lure each other into some kind of 2 versus 1. This is right now going to be probably working for CZs. Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job in there. As of course in the pocket, the house is looking for Skull. Also still pushing forward, because right now he's having the advantage of war galleys faster than his Viking opponent, so of course he's punishing him for that. And is he going to be aiming into here? Not sure, but he might be. And Mahori is already slightly preparing to actually battle on in the pocket position in there. Not really interested in the fight all that much near Mango. Mahori advancing here to castle age slightly faster. Mango is going to be advancing soon, pretty rather soon as well. But yeah, he needs to be a bit more careful in here, because of course he's losing the economy on the water and potentially might be opening the opportunity for Pink Floyd together with Mahori in the pocket to do something significant against Skull. But so far it's not happening. But what is happening is... not really sure why actually Ovenka is retreating. He was having the numbers, definitely, to actually stand and fight against Scrath, but he didn't really want to do so. So yeah, he's going to be waiting for a bit better battle in there, as of course Orange is also having a bit of fun at the bottom with Goodfella. So yeah, it seems like they are basically just all divided, and this is kind of unusual game. It is very unusual game because basically all 4 players are playing 1v1s, or 4 players from both teams. There are not really any kind of significant 2v2s or whatnot, which is usually what 4v2s devolve into. Right now we might be seeing something like that, but yeah, pretty soon I'm thinking that Yannick will yet again disengage and go to the bottom and try to conquer Goodfella in full. Whereas of course in the pocket right now we are having a Mango having a bit of fun in the pocket. Oh well. Yeah, he's right now thinking probably that he doesn't need to fight all that much against Mahori. Basically he can leave it be. And if he wants to fight, well, that he's going to be fighting. And in the meantime, he can basically face Skull's opponent as well. And help him with the fight in the pocket position in there, at least a bit. Yeah, Skull is definitely owning Pink Floyd right about now. Even though Pink Floyd is just right now running around, trying to rebuild himself at the back. But yeah, Skull is doing a great job and seems to be controlling the situation very well indeed. With the help from Mango, it's going to be just a bit easier for him, and this is definitely going to be coming into play right now, this gold position, because it's going to be shootable at from about this position. Second gold, slightly better, actually a lot better. It should be quite safe for him, so not really any kind of significant disadvantage from him in that. From Mahori it's going to be the same, and well, as we are looking at finally some kind of coordinated advance by CZ Clan, aka Czech Republic A, pushing forward both Ovenka and Yannick. It's going to be time for actually Goodfella to join as well. And he's going to be coming from the back, so it basically means that CZs let themselves be lured into some kind of trap. They might be in for a bit of a trouble. So they need to be kind of careful about this. But they did a good job reducing the number of units from Scrath. And right now they are going to be attempting to do the same with Goodfella. And Goodfella potentially does have quite a big problem with the gold, because his both gold mines are in the range from water, which is something that really CZ should be pursuing. Because that will be something that will really decide the game very easily and very fast if they are able to basically control the goal of their opponent. Well, right now blue and green trying to catch Mahori off guard, as he has actually been able to amass quite a significant armada himself. But with the reinforcements from Mango, it's not really going to be anything all that big and all that significant at all. It's going to be pretty easy to fight this battle, and probably, especially the reinforcements from Skull coming from the bottom, is going to be blocking it, and this is going to be working very well for them. A bit of a trap laid by CZ Clan, and it's going to be working quite fine. Even though Skull is of course going to be losing a few boats in here, it's of course going to be allowing CZ to get in there, catch up, and in the end be a whole lot more efficient than they would be otherwise. So nicely played by CZ. It was a very nice little maneuver in there. We are of course going to be looking at the battle at the bottom yet again, where Yannick is right now yet again going to be having a bit of fun with Goodfella, whereas it's going to be up to Ovenka to fight against Scrath at the top. Ah, yeah, you can see that actually Yannick is having armor on the boats, +1. And Goodfella is not. And that's actually a pretty big difference. So it should be fairly easy win for Yannick. Looking at the numbers already be inside the battle for him. I can see that Yannick is right now winning, but he needs to be also wary about the reinforcements that are also coming in for him. Okay, so it should be pretty convincing win for him. Yeah, this was an interesting fight for Goodfella, but even though he did have very similar numbers, I think that he really lost just due to the armor. It really makes a lot of difference in the fights, because it's a percentage of actually damage reduced. And in large battles, with so many damage dealt, it definitely does mount up and does make a difference in the long run. So that's basically water battle right now won by Yannick. Whereas in the pocket position, it's not really, would be saying won for Ovenka, but he definitely is having edge. He's definitely having edge in there. That's definitely working for him. As on the right flank, we are looking at another important battle between Mango and his opponent Mahore. Right now both are missing the upgrade onto the armor, so it's going to be just basically up to sheer numbers, which seems to be quite equal. I'll be maybe slightly thinking that Mahore, if he does get reinforcements soon, could be winning, but apparently not, so it's going to be Mango winning in here as well. So CZs are right now winning the water battles all across the map. So that's going to be another water battle 1 for CZs, this time for Mango against Mahore, and another battle in the middle between Skull and Pink Floyd. And who is actually going to be winning this? Yeah, they're also missing the armor in here. And this seems to be very equal indeed. How many reinforcements are coming in? Well, not really all that many. Seem to be coming a bit more and faster for Pink Floyd, because we are fighting a bit closer to his docks. And even though that is exactly the truth, curiously enough, Skull is actually winning. Not exactly sure why that's possible, because of course he's fighting against Vikings, so we would be really expecting that the Viking would be having a bit more boats. But yeah, those 4 battles, basically all 4, that was really unusual islands in 4v4. Everybody playing 1v1. And this was exactly the moment where all CZs won their 1v1s. First Yannick against Goodfella, then Ovenka against Krath, then was following Mango against Mahore, and the last one, Skull against Pink Floyd. All 4 won their 1v1s, and that forced the opponents to actually resign, even though they were having very good chances so far, or very good chances. They were actually playing a very good game so far, and it was quite difficult for CZs to reach this stage, but they did. They did, and you can see that the difference is the economy. CZ 76, 60, 72, 50, and their opponents, Brazil C, 62. That was the only respectable one, basically, with the 56 in there, 43, 44. So yeah, the better ability to replace the boats was exactly what won the games in the 1v1s in there. Well, nicely played by CZs, and good choice of the home map. Even though it definitely wasn't easy for you, it was nicely played by Brazil C. Let's check the achievements. Yannick. Well, I kind of think that actually Skull was a whole lot more important in the game, because he was basically keeping busy the opponent Viking, and he was Japanese, and he was basically beating him. So yeah, that's that. I think that was the most significant part of the game for CZs, because they didn't have to worry about the Viking all that much, whereas they had the Viking Yannick doing what he can to win the battle for them. But in the end, all 4 CZs basically won what they needed to, and that amounted to their victory. Yeah, largest army from Mahore, just 21. And it was unfortunately at a time where he was exactly doubled by Skull and Mango. So that was a bit of a tough luck for him. Okay, GG.